Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Watch. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi, and we're going to be taking a look at some very warm temperatures, a slight chance for snow, especially into the mountains. We get into your Friday, and then this weekend we kind of bounce those temperatures back up again, and that will last into next week. So let's start things out by taking a look at what we're expecting for your day today. It's mostly on the kind of sunny side throughout the area. That said, we'll actually see those clouds increase as we head later on through the afternoon. And that is thanks to some of those mountain wave clouds, lenticular clouds, caused by the air being forced up and over the mountains. And then you get a bit of a turbulent eddy on the other side. And that's what's creating those clouds that you're seeing overhead today. Long story short, that's probably going to keep those temperatures a little bit in check with a high only in the mid 50s. That is 10 degrees above the average for this time of year. Winds out of the southwest, 5 to 15 miles an hour. And also notice that sunrise this morning at 7:19 a.m. As of this week, those sunrises getting earlier and earlier now. Kind of a little bit of a complicated way to explain it, but sunrises actually get later even after the winter solstice. That is because the solar noon, or the highest point of the sky of the sun during the day, actually takes place a little bit later after the winter solstice, and that eventually gets overtaken by the increased daylight. I know that's a little bit mumble jumble, but I guess the best way to put it is once the longer daylight overtakes the later solar noon, that's when those sunrises start to get earlier, and that's taking place this week. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, feel free to tweet me and I can kind of clarify that a bit more for you, Matt Bianchi Weather on Twitter. But again, long story short, sunrise is getting earlier and earlier now until March. That's when we spring forward on the clocks. Yeah, again, it can be a little complicated. By the way, that's all thanks to the fact that time is not set around the Gregorian calendar. Time, the way we kind of calculate time, days, weeks, months, and all that, it's not set around astronomy. So it's not set or meant to be around the sun. So long story short, it can be a little bit complicated on that part. All right, I think I've gone down that rabbit hole a little bit far for you. Let's get back to the day-to-day weather. Hour by hour here, the clouds, it does look like we'll see those kind of increase as we head through the day. Again, that's thanks to those mountain wave clouds, lenticular clouds. Those are the kind of clouds that produce a lot more in the way of bark than bite. So you'll see those clouds, but there is a 0% chance for precipitation for your day today. So don't worry about the clouds, at least in terms of any rain or snow chances. That includes the mountains, by the way, as well. We do get those highs up into the mid 50s. And for today, this afternoon, you will see those clouds kind of increase. So again, by 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon, you'll notice those clouds overhead across much of the state. Again, these are those more bark than bite clouds. Western Colorado, the western slope for our friends out in Grand Junction, and on north, we'll see those clouds thanks to our next system that is approaching, but again, no rain or snow anywhere across our fine state for your day today. Now, as we get into your day tomorrow, it's actually going to tick up in terms of those temperatures. We'll be talking about temperatures in some cases that could be getting on up into the low 60s for us here around the metro area. We'll be right around 60 degrees. Now, whether or not we hit 60 will depend on how much cloud cover we do get. My suspicion is we'll see enough cloud cover to just keep us below 60 degrees here in Denver. Again, we'll have to keep an eye on that, but my guess is we'll stay somewhere around 58, 59 in Denver tomorrow. Regardless, we're 15 degrees above the norm for the middle of January. Our average time for this time of year, 44 degrees. So we're talking about those highs right around 60. Again, we're cooking. We're about 15 degrees above the norm. 61 Littleton, 60 Castle Rock, 62 Parker. But we've got some of that extra snow cover in place. Fort Collins, 47. Platteville, 47. Greeley, 46. And if you're watching me from up there, you know that you've got a bit more cloud cover, a bit more snow cover in place there. And that's thanks to that storm that we saw just a few days ago, about this time last week, when we had that kind of burst of snow last Thursday afternoon. That really impacted our northern regions a lot more than Denver and I-70 on south. So you got more snow cover in place. That's why those temperatures a bit more in check up in Greeley, Platteville, Fort Collins, and Fort Morgan. But still, we're running above the norm up that way as well. Now, looking ahead, our next chance for snow doesn't come into the state until Friday. That is a very light snow chance. Here in Denver, We might see a few flakes, especially along the Palmer Divide and the foothills, but we probably won't see any accumulation out of it. So don't worry about that snow chance on your Friday. It will not impact your plans here in Denver. The northern mountains, Steamboat Springs, Winter Park, north of I-70, I-79 north, you'll see a few inches of quick hitting snow on your Friday during the day. That's it really in terms of those meaningful snow chances over the next few days. We warm back up into the weekend, and then early next week we get even warmer than that. We'll be back in the 50s for Monday and Tuesday of next week. So this kind of drier, warmer pattern, it's setting up shop here for a little while here. This is actually fairly typical January weather. January is not a particularly snowy month for us along the Front Range. I believe it is our 6th snowiest month of the calendar year. We tend to get our snow during the spring and the fall, during those shoulder season months, because that's when we tend to get those big storms that tap into Gulf of Mexico moisture and draw that back up here into the Front Range. But in the meantime, we're stuck with temperatures in the 50s, upper 40s and 50s for the next few days, and will stay that way through the upcoming weekend and to next week. So enjoy the generally calmer, warmer, more tranquil weather. Keep in mind, though, that at night that some of that snow melt that will take place during the day will refreeze again. So watch out for some of those icier sidewalks, and especially for those north-facing shadows. You know what I'm talking about. Again, your sidewalk or your street is in a north shadow, it is more prone to get that ice, and that snow kind of tends to stick around there for a while longer. You know what I'm talking about, I think, at this point. But we will be looking at that for the next few days. Otherwise, real big weather highlights for the next little while. And you know what? We've had a pretty cold start to the month here in Denver. We're about 6 degrees below average so far month to date. We'll make up some of that ground here as we head through the next few days. We'll probably get closer to average as we head through the rest of the week and into the upcoming weekend. Meantime, the mountains, again, only real snow chances up there coming up for your Friday and then the weekend. Upper 40s for us here in Denver. I mentioned our average high, 44, so we'll be a little bit above average both days for the upcoming weekend. So enjoy the nice weather, and hopefully you will get plenty of time outdoors and enjoy some of this, because, again, for this time of year, it will not be all that bad. Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch for a detailed look at your Colorado forecast. I'm Meteorologist Chris Bianchi, and have a great rest of your day.